Hello and welcome to video number 4, where we're preparing for the initial grade classical guitar Trinity exam. Okay, so we've looked at 3 pieces. This time in this video we're going to look at the technical exercises. So there's a technical exercise that you have to play. Then you can choose whether you do what they call scales and arpeggios, or you can choose the studies. Alright, so once again, make sure your guitar's in tune using your tuner or your tuner app on your phone. Quiet room, comfortable chair, music stand, footstool if you have a footstool. So sitting correctly, sit up straight, guitar on your left leg. Okay. Once again, I'll presume the warm-up exercise has been done. Just remember what we've talked about, just nice little simple open string exercises using crotchets, using quavers, or using thumb and fingers. Okay? Right, so today let's look at the technical exercises. So the first one, which is called technical exercise, this is in the key of C major, and it uses the first 5 notes of the C major scale. So first of all, what is a scale? Okay, a scale in musical terms is just a run of notes in alphabetical order, up and down. And all you have to remember in music, I'll start with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then after G in music, alphabetically it's back to A. 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then back down again. Alright? Now, in initial grade, you only play the first 5 notes. So this exercise begins on C, on the 2nd string, and it goes like this. Okay? The scales, you have 2 groups, and they're in keys, right? And the key, when we talk about a key in music, we mean the sound of a piece. Okay? So the first key is G major. So starting on open G, first 5 notes, G, A, B, C, D, alright? And all you do is you go up and back down. Okay, so G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, G. So that's the scale. The arpeggio, and again, if you were asked what is an arpeggio, well, in Inca Dawn, we played a chord where we strummed the first 3 strings of the guitar. We played those together. If I break those notes up, that's an arpeggio. So if anybody were to ask you, what's an arpeggio? The easiest way to describe it is just by saying it's a broken chord. Okay? So in this case, we're starting on G, and an arpeggio is made up of the first note, the 3rd note, and the 5th note of the scale. So we're starting on G, so the 3rd note, including the G, count up, G, A, B, so G, B, and then the 5th note, G, A, B, C, D, so G, B, D, and it sounds like this. Okay, now for the scales you can choose to play them either what they call apoyando, which is using the rest stroke where you rest on the next string behind, making sure you're using walking fingers. Or you can use what they call tirando, which again is walking fingers, but this time instead of resting on the next string, you pluck away from the guitar, so your fingers come up into your hand. Okay? For the arpeggio, they have to be played tirando, free strokes. Okay? Plucking away from the guitar. Right, now onto the next scale. We're into now A minor. Starting on A on the 3rd string. That's the scale. The arpeggio, A, C is the 3rd note, E is the 5th note. So using tirando. Okay, and that's the arpeggio. Now, all I will say on the scales and arpeggios, if you choose those, they have to be done from memory. Alright, so the technical exercise, you can use your book, but the scales and arpeggios have to be from memory. Okay? The studies, you can, once again, use your book. And the studies are dealing with different technical aspects of your playing. 3 groups, 2 pieces in each group. You choose one from each of the groups. So the first group, we've got Stargazer, and this is looking at what they call legato. If you think in your pieces, you found a technique or you used a technique called staccato. Alright, staccato, S for short. Legato is the opposite, long notes. So for their full values. So easy to remember again. Legato begins with the letter L, L for long. So Stargazer sounds like this. The next one, Playground Games, again legato, goes like this. Okay, again, before we move on, just remember, always pay attention to the dynamics. Now the second group is all about, the first piece, Submarine, is about tirando, thumb articulation. So in other words, free strokes with your thumb. Submarine goes like this. Okay, the next one, Stop It. This is all about your right finger string damping. So all that means is that when you play a note, put your finger back on it just to stop the note from sounding. So this one goes like this. Rest, 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 rest. Okay, so every time there's a rest, stop the string with your finger. And then the third group, the first piece, Icebreaker, is all about strummed open string chords and tirando, free strokes. So look at the letters above the notes so that you can see P, I, P, I, P, I, M, and P when you strum, okay? So free strokes, tirando, plucking away. Sounds like this. notice with the chords, the first chord, you just strum 4 strings, the second chord, 5 strings, and then the last 3 chords, 6 strings. And above the last chord, there's that little semicircle with a dot, and that's what they call a pause. And all that means is that the last chord is worth 2 beats because it's a minim, but you can just pause on that and hold it on for a fraction longer. Okay? Now the last piece then, again, Turando. This is called cross string thing. Look at the finger pattern. M, I, M, I, M, thumb, thumb. Okay? Alright, so practice that pattern nice and slowly. Here we go then, sounds like this. With your thumb, strum those first 3 strings. Good, okay? So that's all of the technical exercises, and you can, in discussion with your teacher, decide whether you want to do scales and arpeggios, they're from memory, or whether you want to do 3 of the studies. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed these little videos. Happy practicing.